Hi, I'm Brian. Welcome to Autogefühl and welcome to Honda's e-prototype. It's brand new, it's a concept. Is it worth taking a closer look at? Let's find out. Honda's urban EV has now become Honda's e-prototype, and that's important because they are now saying that it's almost 100% ready for production. So realistically, you should be able to start thinking about actually acquiring one of these in the next 2 years. Now, why the delay? Why the alterations? Well, they're trying to make it as close to what market demands as they think they can get it before they release it. So this is demonstrating a few changes here at Geneva from the last time that we saw it. Stylistically, well, you certainly couldn't say that this car isn't original. They've really gone all out to make this cheeky, fresh, new, and very definitely different to anything else that you've seen on the roads before. Once we get a more mature market for small electric vehicles, I think we'll start seeing some recognizable standards coming out. But until then, it's open season for all of the manufacturers to stamp all of their new ideas on these things. And Honda have clearly gone with something that, for me, looks a little bit fresh out of the pages of a manga publication. What do you think? That's an awful lot of piano black, but it certainly is distinctive. Well, if you thought the front was a bit of a head turner, take a look at the back. This is really very, very modern design. It looks like something that could have been used to transport people around in the film 2001: A Space Odyssey. I'm excited to see something a little bit more visually challenging. You know, when Nissan first brought the Leaf out, it really shocked everyone and made a huge statement. I think ever since then, manufacturers feel they have permission to go a little bit further, a little bit harder with their designs and really start envisaging what the future might look like. So, this is a compact car. It is smaller than the i3, and they want it to make a very powerful visual statement. And I think they've achieved that. If this really is going to be the finished version of the rear of this car, you're certainly going to get noticed when you're driving it around. But I still think it's fair to say that it's cheeky and fun, which I think is going to be very important if you're taking this on what's proposed to be around about 120-mile range from its 30-kilowatt battery. Now, bearing in mind that hasn't been confirmed yet as a detail, so we don't 100% know. But again, if Honda really are right about this car being really that close to production, I think that's a fairly reliable estimate. This is about city and urban driving around where you really don't have long journeys to make and you just want it simple, quick and easy. But at the same time, you kind of want your friends to notice what you're driving. Coming in at under 4 meters in length, you can see that this is clearly going to be competition for BMW's i3, and compact is the name of the game. But here is where we can see slight evolutions from the previous go at this, the previous prototype. Hooray! We have now rear seats, and that's huge in terms of aiding to the practical application of this car. It has to be usable, and I think although Honda were going with a very clean design to start with, they have conceded finally that really functionality is very important. And I like the way that they fitted that into the form. This whole thing still feels very unique and fresh. Now, it's all about perspective. And what's interesting is how much Renault design feel I can get from standing back here and really looking at this profile. To me, it almost looks like a futuristic, fully electric version of a Clio. Dare I say it, first generation? That's going to ruffle a few feathers, but it's nice to see the way that we have the match of the angularity along with the roundness. This really does feel like a city or urban electric car. So if the outside looks a little bit modern for your taste, I wonder what they've done with the interior. With this being a prototype, we're not actually allowed to sit in the vehicle, but we can be in the vehicle as long as we're not too far in the vehicle. So let's take a closer look from outside, but almost in the vehicle. Well, When they tell you that it's close to being done, I have to say, if this really is representative of what they're going to do with the dash, to say that it's bold and futuristic, I think is an understatement. Look at these digital wing mirrors that they've incorporated into the dashboard. No need for extrusions on the outside. That's much better for aerodynamic performance, and it also really adds to the aesthetic of a very, very modern car. Clearly we have an enormous digital display here. I wonder if that would be a little bit distracting to drive. Is it a nod to Honda's future plans for autonomous driving? Is the idea that in a short amount of time you'll simply be a passenger in your own car? Well, needless to say, they're not sharing that detail with us, but you can certainly get a sense that that's the direction in which things are heading. I really like the way that the materials have been used here to create a truly unique experience. This isn't really like anything that's gone before. Now, okay, all concepts are designed on that basis, but this is supposed to be very much pre-market. So Honda are very keen to hear what you guys, amongst everybody else, thinks about what they've done with this design. For my taste, I like it. I don't see any point in producing something that's new and bold without pushing those boundaries just a little bit further. It should be a little bit shocking to sit in one of these and take a good look around. I really appreciate they've put those extra doors in there now, and you know what, for a compact car, the room in the back doesn't look too bad at all, but it's mostly going to be about two people. This car is primarily going to be about transporting you around the city where you need to get to. The seats look modern, contemporary, and they do look still comfortable and large enough to give you the support that they need to. What I don't know clearly is how robust that drive's going to feel. I think the range is realistic for a car of this size and type, but is it going to be comfortable to drive decent distances in? And importantly, for a compact car around town, are you going to feel comfortable when you're stuck in between a double-decker bus and a lorry in such a small vehicle? Well, Smart proved that it was possible, so I'm very interested to see what Honda does with the idea next. Well, that's a very brief look at the Honda E prototype. Ordinarily, we wouldn't bring you a car that isn't quite ready to be looked at, but this feels like a very important vehicle. As far as pricing is concerned, which you would assume would be key within this sector, interestingly, Honda, although tight-lipped, are saying that they don't want it to be cheap. The example they give is the iPhone. They want it to be something that's very desirable. I think that's a very bold strategy. It is, after all, a very small car. And although it may well be loaded with technology and still be a lot of fun, does it really have that premium feel about it? It certainly feels unique and different, but is that going to be enough to justify a slight inflation point on the pricing? Well, we're going to have to wait a while longer to find out. But for now, it certainly does feel like a little piece of the future. And I'm very excited to see what it looks like when it's finally available to buy. If you have any comments or questions, please put them below. Please subscribe, and we hope we'll see you all again soon.